everybody, welcome back to the channel. That's right, welcome back. We have got a new project and I am super excited about this. What is it, do you ask? Well, it is a 1938 Plymouth Sedan P6. It belongs to a friend of mine's father who's had it in his family since he was 12 years old, roughly the early 60s or so, and it's been in his family ever since. My buddy looked me up a couple of weeks ago and said would I be interested in taking a look at his father's car. It needed some paint and body work, and I said sure. So went over to take a look at it, and you know, it needs some paint and body work. He admitted that. He just knew that somebody else could do better than he could do, but some of the local places near him wanted to quote him out 6 figures for a nut and bolt rotisserie restoration, which is not what he wanted. What he's looking for is a car that is prettied up, looks good, not a, you know, not a auction quality, not a Mecum, not a, you know, nut and bolt restoration. He wants something good driver. Mainly he wants something that his grandkids can ride to the car shows and parades with in his hometown. And for that, the big question was initially was adding in some seat belts in the rear. So that will be our primary objective, which will not be a horrible deal since we're adding them in our 52 as well. Just a matter of putting some supports back here behind the seats to hold the buckles. Not concerned about that. The majority of the work is going to be paint and body. Now, let's start kind of walking around the car. Starting here at the good old trunk. There's, you know, room for improvement. Trunk is a little misaligned, needs a little bit of working to get the body lines and gaps worked. Of course, you can see where there was some paint difference from the original paint to, I believe he just started to choose a color he liked in rattle can and apply that, but realize there's probably a better way to do it. The window seals in the vehicle are good, so we're not going to touch those for the most part. All the glass is complete in here, and I believe he said original. The interior also is in, you know, for a 1930s car, this is way better than our 52 Chev, that's for sure. Hasn't been destroyed by mice. So his goal is to complete the interior restoration back at his garage. He's done a few things, get the little glove box things put back in. We've done he's done a conversion to 12 volts, working on turn signals. You know, if this was a BMW, you wouldn't need those. Horn works, 3-speed on the floor. One of the big things here, one of the many big things is new running boards. We have those in the back of the pickup, so we'll be putting those on. There are a number of blemishes around the entire car. You know, life experience. It's been around for a while. But the trunk is good. We've got some parts in the trunk, spare tire, the webbing for, or the welting for between the fenders and the body itself, some spare nuts and bolts, and the antenna. One of the big things back here, this panel behind the bumper is rotting out, so we've got to replace that. Our big area of concern really is this corner here. It was in a accident at some point which pushed this area in a little bit. You can see difference in the door gap, so we've got to pull that out. This area down here above the fender is gone and just like chicken wired in. with some sheet metal screws to get this home. This fender is pretty much totaled. I'll take it off in another video and show you, but it's all ripped apart under here as well as on the body itself. So we've got to redo this area here on the body and replace that fender. Luckily, I've already found one on eBay, which should work for us. And also, I believe, is off of a different year, a 39, I think, and has the provision for the passenger side tail light, because he would like to have passenger or driver and passenger tail lights, blinkers, and a backup light. So that's what we're going to try and get wired in as well. All over, there's some dings and dents. We're going to pull all these fender wells off, get them cleaned up, dents out. Thankfully, the hood, that's pretty good. That's straight. Just has a few little scratches and scuffs. Everything pretty much above this looks great. The roof is in great shape. I don't see any signs really of rust or damage or dents. Of course, we're going to go ahead and pull off all the paint and kind of start from scratch and see what we're working with, because we all know once you start taking things down, you're going to find more. Of course, there's things like this down here. I'll go through and fix. Got a nice set of Coker tires and wheels on there. Those look pretty sharp, actually. A little bit of rust. You know, there's stuff everywhere here and there. We are looking to get all of the chrome stuff redone, so if anybody has a good chromer here in the Minnesota area, Twin Cities or Southeast Minnesota, please let me know. Bumpers to get re-chromed. He's got new headlights, 12 volt LEDs, I believe they're in the back. He did the conversion to 12 volts on this thing as well, so that is good to go. Do have a pretty nice looking engine in here that runs pretty darn well as well. So 6-cylinder, nothing huge. It would be just a good old, oop, hold on. Just a good old engine to tootle around with, go to church on Sunday, go to the parade or the car show. Just a good driver. Got, you know, rust and crusties along here, and I said I'd be taking off these because we need to go ahead and take care of this. We just can't paint over it. We got to get behind here. Pinstriping, that's going to go away. He's not a fan of the pinstriping in any way. But we're thinking the color he would like to go with is going to be either this fender or off the hood. I've got to confirm that with him. The engine, everything in here is staying put. So if I do anything, I'm going to either mask from here outside or repaint this and then mask everything inside. I have not determined that yet. But mechanically, it is in good shape, so we're not going to have to do anything major underneath or with the engine. So that is promising. So hopefully we can get this turned around back to him in, well, less time than some of our other projects in the shop. I'm looking at you, Challenger. I guess we've kind of got a Mopar family starting in here now. We've got the Challenger and we've got the granddaddy here, the 38 Plymouth. So yeah, like I said, we've got some parts in the back and books, all sorts of good stuff. So we've got our headlights in there. There's something else in there. Service manuals, books, diagrams, some wiring stuff. And otherwise, yeah, the interior looks pretty good. Got the heater in there, so that's kind of neat. Parking brake. We've got the foot pedal start up under here. This gauge cluster is pretty cool. It's not digital, it's not fancy, but it's center mounted, and just overall it's pretty cool looking. So I can really appreciate that about this car. Glove box, good to go there. Door cards even aren't too bad, and he'll, like I said, remake those. in his own time. But I want to go through and get these trim rings redone, of course, get everything matching, doors off. I do have a request, if possible, to leave all the glass in, just because of the seals are still good and keeping moisture out. So if we can avoid having to take these out, you know, other than just dropping them down to crank them down, great. But front and rear glass should stay. But really, I think this is going to be a fun project. It would be kind of nice if maybe 3M or Nissan would reach out to me and you know, sponsor a video or two, or send some paint or some supplies our way. That'd be pretty awesome. Yeah. So overall, this is just a pretty nice car. It's been a family car, and I'm pretty happy to be able to help them out. So we're going to go ahead and next video, we're going to start taking stuff off. I want to go ahead and get all these big fender flare things off, start taking off and cataloging the chrome, bumpers, just get down to as much of the bare metal as we can. These side skirts for the engine bay come off. Of course, those come off. Doors will probably come off at a later time, minimize chance of just dust and dirt in there. I do have a cover for it, but you know how it goes in a shop. So yeah, take this off. This is going to be our first area to work on, I guess, is just getting this corner back out where it should. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it in certain lights. There's a little pucker right in here, and of course down here. This door has a little indent right here, which we can probably either suck out with my suction slide hammer. But nothing major, nothing compared to the other two old projects we've got sitting in the shop right now. I spent a bunch of time looking around YouTube, online, whatever, for other restorations of these cars, videos, pictures, anything really about these late 30s Plymouths in particular. And there really isn't anything. So, you know, it's not a very common or popular car, but maybe I'll have the first series of a 38 restoration on YouTube. Who knows? These were one of the many cars back in the day featured in, you know, like gangster and mob movies. So that's kind of neat. This has far too few bullet holes to actually been in part of any of that life in the past. But this just looks like a really good, clean starting point for a kind of a just paint and body resto. Nothing fancy, nothing engine-wise. We're not modding it up. We're not rodding it up. I had a couple of buddies first say, "Oh, you should turn that into a hot rod." I'm like, not my car. Not going to do it. So anyways, we're going to pull this thing out of the shop, make some space, shuffle some stuff around here for the fall, and make sure we've got some room to keep working on this. This is going to be fun. It actually runs and it drives, so when it comes time to do the paint, and I can actually drive to the garage up this wonderful hill that I've talked about it quite a bit. I'm not sure I've showed it a whole lot, but it's a pretty short hill and a pretty steep grade. So at least this thing runs and drives and don't have to push it around. Anyways, that's going to do it for this opening, I guess. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, turn on that post notification bell, get notified whenever we put out new content on this and our other, I don't know, 2 or 3 projects in the shop. I'm going to go because my voice is some reason disappearing and I'm starting to sound like a frog. So until the next video, take care, have fun, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.